during this period of COVID, especially, so many people were having challenges and business
Mhm.
transformations. Not, I
Yeah.
mean, let's not even talk about digital transformation, just business
Mhm.
transformation, which is even
Yeah.
bigger. Many people had to really adjust. And did you also have to adjust during that period
Oh,
to
oh
change
yes.
and yeah,
Oh my
increase the
goodness.
number of courses? What did you all need to do? What
So
were the things that people were asking you to do now?
so I know it seems like a long time ago, but in my mind it's really fresh. So it was the end of 2019. So the general practice is normally we will lock in some of the key dates for some of the big clients at least a month or two before the year starts, right? That's how the large MNCs work.
Mm,
And then when the COVID situation kind of like hit, I think at the beginning it was just wait and see what's going to happen. So January came, and then by February, I think the situation escalated, but it was still sort of like only advisories. And then the circuit breaker, I think, kicked in somewhere in March, if I'm not wrong, in 2020. And around that time, we had almost 100% cancellation of almost every course because we could not go to venues. And I was scheduled to travel a bit in Asia, right, to different companies to train, and everything got canceled. And it kind of like was okay. And it's not my first time at the rodeo. I've been
uh-huh.
through, pretty tough situations in the past. So my go-to is to kind of just relax, get my center, and I ask myself, what's the worst case scenario? And it was also fortunate the Singapore government, they were giving a lot of grants and they
Mm,
worked with the banks to kind of, so our banks were calling us up, hey, do you need a lifeline? Do you need a, so my finance person, right, and my co-founder, he decided, okay, we'll go see how much money they are going to give us for the time being. So we managed to get that, to get some space above the water, but we knew that it was it was just a rope, and it was a matter of how long you have before the rope runs
mm,
out. And then we had one client, because you see the clients are also were affected by the changes, right? Like they couldn't do anything, they couldn't book any rooms, they couldn't bring people together. But the development aspect of it, the things that have to be done still needs to progress as much as possible. So they still needed some level of OD work, some level of facilitation work. But okay, what do they do? So they then called us up and they said, hey, can you guys do like online courses? And up to that point, I have never done online courses, right? I have never done a single workshop online, because we always do it face to face.
mm,
But fortunately, I'm a little bit of a tech geek, right? So I was dabbling with like some audiovisual stuff from July the year before in 2019, because we were trying to do our own video recordings and maybe go into podcasting, and it was just really about content generation. So I learned a little bit about Adobe and stuff. And I like what Steve Jobs said. He said the dots always connect backwards. So at that time when I was doing it in July 2019, playing around with all these computer systems, it seemed like a hobby, right? An expensive hobby, to be honest. But when the March period came and the client asked, "Can you run?" We I learned one thing from my mentors in business: always say yes, and then go figure out, okay, how do I make this happen? Always say yes, right? So I said yes, and then they said, okay, we got to run on like Monday, and this was like a Thursday. And we were like, okay, how do we get all of this done? How do we book Zoom? And how do we send the email invites? How do we register? How do we do the cybersecurity? Oh my goodness, so many things. But fortunately, my team was really gung ho, and they knew that this was a was a make it or break it type of a moment. We cannot say no. So we then pulled the entire thing, and from there, Edric, it was really just amazing how the business kind of really shifted. Of course, our revenues dropped significantly,
mm.
but our margins went up because we no longer had all the additional costs, such as
Right.
venue and food and none of that, right? And we were able to do more within the same time, because
Mm,
if let's say I have to train a company in Vietnam on Monday, then on Tuesday I can do a Singapore-based company, because I didn't have the travel time. In the past we always can only book Monday and then maybe Wednesday. Sometimes we book it Thursday to have some rest in between. But now we could do back to back. We could also do morning and afternoon sessions for two completely different companies, which was not possible in the previous business model, where we
mm,
had to travel from place to place. Keynote speeches was fantastic, because now we could deliver online speeches. And my biggest one was with Oracle, where we covered the entire world, right? Whoever wanted to dial in could dial in. So we had participants from Sweden and like from Turkey, from far, far away places. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool, you know. And we ended up clocking myself alone about 700 hours of training and facilitation last year.